So I'm supposed to be in a recording studio right now recording my audiobook, but I have strep throat. So I'm stuck at home and I thought while I'm here, I could tell you all about my publishing journey. My debut book, No Scrap Left Behind, is coming out on Tuesday, which is still crazy. I mean, I've self-published some books. Like I've got this Don't Dance on the Toilet and other things I never thought I'd say to my kids, which is just funny life as a parent, and then 100 Ways to Change the World. But this is my first traditionally published book. So I have been sending query letters to agents for different projects for many years. When publishing, you have to get an agent to represent you to the publishers, or else most of them won't even look at you. And I've been sending books to beta readers and critique partners, and just it's been a long road. Well, when I finished No Scrap Left Behind, I should have sent it to people to read it, you know, critique partners, but it just felt done, right? I didn't feel like I needed that. I felt like I was ready to send it out, which is really stupid. Never do that. You should always get somebody to read your book. It worked out for me in this situation, but don't follow my example. So I had sent things out to so many agents that at that point, I wasn't doing a lot of research into them. I would just see like, oh, they represent my genre. Send, 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 send. And somebody responded saying that they wanted to see the whole thing, because you're just supposed to send them a letter introducing it and then a proposal with details that they might need to know in order to get it through the publishing process. And I realized that I hadn't sent it to an agent. I'd sent it to an editor, which is someone who works in publishing. Now, let me tell you why this could either have been the best thing that could ever happen to me or really bad. So, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Let me think. Okay, so I have been scammed by editors before who say they work for a publishing company, and I'd get so excited, like, oh, my book is finally getting published, and then they'd ask for a few $1,000s, and I'd be so disappointed and realize, you know, that it wasn't going to work out. So this time I was like, I did not mean to send it to an editor. I need to find out who these people are. And so I did all this research, and they sounded legit. It was Health Communications Incorporated. They've done lots of legitimate great books. They did the Chicken Noodle Soup series. And so I thought, okay, we'll move forward with this. And then they made me an offer. Well, my next problem is that agents are very expert at reading the contracts, negotiating, and getting everything, you know, up and up, and advocating for the author. Well, I didn't have an advocate because I never got an agent. And so I was kind of freaking out. I'm like, I've heard all these horror stories from authors that, this was in their contract or that wasn't in their contract. And so I sent it to a lawyer to look at. And after hearing back from him, I still wasn't satisfied. So then I sent it to Authors Guild, because they have volunteer lawyers that work for authors. And I wrote in a bunch of writers' forums like, is this the right decision? Is this what I should do? And they pretty much all agreed that as a beginning writer without a platform, I didn't have a lot of negotiating power anyway. So since I had found somebody and they had made me an offer and I couldn't negotiate the contract, there wasn't really much that an agent could do for me in that situation. So they said, go for it. And I talked to my editor, I told her my concerns, and she actually did a video chat with me and the CEO of the company to explain things and to kind of soothe my anxieties. And I was really impressed by the time that they took to make sure I was informed about what I was getting into. And as I was saying, like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? The CEO said, look, we want our writers to be happy, because if they're not happy, they don't promote their book. And if they don't promote their book, then we don't get sales. So you don't need to worry. We're going to take care of you. And so I said, all right, let's do it. And it's been great. So my editor was the first person to go through a round of edits. She did all the big changes. Then I had someone who did line edits, which, she could say like, move this chapter here, cut this chapter, add this. But he could only say like, this sentence doesn't make sense. This paragraph maybe should have been earlier, things like that. And then when he's done, they had a copy editor make sure that there weren't any typos. And that was it. Now, I'm used to spending years of editing back and forth with people on my books, and I expected it to go through several rounds of edits with my agent too. So this happened really fast, a lot faster than I was expecting it to. And then when they were like, it's good, let's send it, let's send it to the printers, I was like, are you sure? So then they sent me, they asked what kind of cover I wanted. I actually had a lot of say in the cover. I got to help pick the color, told them what font I wanted, and we worked on what kind of food would be on it. Because if you look, we got shrimp and rice. I didn't want junk food because I didn't want people to think that if you avoid food waste, you're going to get fat. I didn't want healthy food because I didn't want people to think like, oh, this is going to get you to eat salads and I'm not a health food nut, so I'm not going to get this. I didn't want a whole bunch of meat because then the vegans and the vegetarians might be turned off. So we had to get something very specific, and shrimp and rice is just perfect because almost everybody eats shrimp and rice. So then, about 2 months before my release date, which is on Tuesday, my publicist started reaching out to people, and so then I started getting podcast requests and article requests, and I'm actually going to be on TV next Monday, the day before my release day, so that's really exciting too. And they got the audiobook sold to an audiobook company. Also really exciting. And they asked if I wanted to audition to be the narrator. I knew that I had a bit of a leg up because I know that people prefer the writers to be the narrators, but they still could have said no. So I sent them my audition and they said, it's great, let's do it. And I signed a contract with them. Yesterday I went into the studio and it was, I had the headphones and the big speaker in front of my face, and then the guy in the other room with the huge board with all the knobs and everything. So I've got 3 or 4 more sessions of that before he'll edit the book and send it out. So wish me luck. On Tuesday, I have a reading that I'm doing at a bookstore. It's Annie Bloom's Books in Portland. And the book launch party is kind of the biggest day of a writer's life. It's their first real event, and I've been looking forward to this since I was 8 years old. So, yeah, I'm pretty big. So let me know if you guys have any questions, and good luck with all your endeavors too. Bye.